But yeah, thank you. It's an absolute privilege to be chatting to you, and it must be an interesting space for you to be in, because obviously you played in South Africa before. You have a very big following here. I think at a time in your career when things were still building, and fast forward to 2023, 2024, your world from when you were here to today, quite different. Yes.
Indeed, yeah. That's a proper wrap up. No, it's true. It feels a little unreal. I mean, Clement said it before. It's been 8 years, and as you said, in those 8 years, a lot has changed, personally, in the world, and so yeah, it's quite a big thing to come back, you know.
But isn't it refreshing to be able to come to a place that probably at a time, obviously, like I said, your following was absolutely growing. You had this fan base, but then I get a sense that you coming back to South Africa now is almost a thank you for that investment or that commitment that was made back then. What do you say, Kim?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, as you said, it's like I think you should never take for granted that, like back then we went to a lot of places for the first time. And then once you've been there, and then you're coming back home, and you just like continue making music and all that, and then you probably ask yourself like, are we ever gonna come back to that place or this town or or this country, or was that a once in a lifetime kind of thing? Sometimes, I mean, a lot of times it can be like that. So I think we're very happy and grateful for having the opportunity once again to to come back. So that's really nice, and that speaks for it speaks for itself, like for that we just have the best fans, the most loyal following, and that feels great, and that feels like a lot of appreciation in there, so I think it's also like coming back to South Africa is also like a a big thank you to the fans, and like to have a good time together with them and celebrate that.
I mean, I definitely get a sense that obviously when you were out here last time, it left a marked impression on both of you, to the point that, you're playing Coachella, you're playing, big stages all over the world. South Africa is not your biggest market. It's not, you could skip it and, you would still, your trajectory would still be heading in the same direction. Yet I get a sense that you are very aware of, or you remain humble to the people who have kind of fed you through that 8-year journey.
Absolutely. I mean, as Clement said, it still feels special that people, support us and what we're doing, especially now over such a long time. And especially in South Africa, because back then with Rocking the Daisies, it was like, I think they have that system. I don't know if they still have, but that after the festival happens, they kind of pick who they would want to have to headline next year, and I think they picked us twice, and that is unique. Like we never had such a. It's a very direct showing of like people are wanting you to come, not just like an industry or like not just like a plan that you made. It's like a people. It's the people's demand, and I mean that obviously, or not obviously maybe, but to us feels very rich.
Yeah, it's authentic, right? That it comes from a good place. But obviously, and we'll touch on obviously the environmental stuff, because you can't get away from it. It's kind of what you do. But before we jump
into everywhere,
obviously the the power of streaming in certainly in your career so far has, I think, introduced you to an audience way bigger than even when you were with a label. Obviously, you now self-release, but what was your strategy? Because clearly it's been a very successful strategy. And strategy sounds like a hard word, but what I mean is you were clearly aware of it, you understood the power of it, and then you embraced it to the point that you have the kind of numbers that put you in the top 2% of kind of Spotify artists who are generating an income from it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest and fair, it's always been the effort of more than two of us. Like we, over the years, I guess if you can give us credit, it's also that we had a good, I mean, we also failed at it at the very beginning of our career, but we found good people that we, put around us, and they, really helped us to build something that, as you said, made us very independent and safe and able to do what we're doing and live of it. Probably also on a long-term base, which is the biggest gift, really. And but I'm saying there's more minds behind that helping us to get that strategy going. And I guess it's like after the first album, which was just, I kind of like would put that standalone because it was a kind of extreme for many reasons. And then the third and second was just, we were with Universal to kind of like gain structure and stability.
Yeah.
Also because it was that phase where a lot was growing, not just us, and so it was good to have structure and to kind of be a little bit more on the outside of things. And then over the years, though, you learn a lot, and then it makes sense to put yourself back in the middle and in the driver's seat. And again, we also felt we had the right people very close and around us to do that step. And that's, I guess, works.
Yeah, no, clearly clearly working very well indeed. So don't if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I think if it was an intentional strategy or not, I think your journey to get to where you are and be able to be in the position of independence, and being able to dictate where you go next is very powerful. But kind of moving on to, and I think it's important that two of the venues that you're going to be playing at in South Africa are very close to eco parks and botanical gardens. Just so it might not be quite there, but it's next door. But the environment, when you advocate obviously for change, climate change, and the rest, having that kind of balance of going, when do we sing and when do we advocate? Because at some point people are going to say to you, I just want you to sing, or they celebrate the fact that you have a moral compass and that you have an environmental curiosity, and an investment that governments don't have. But how do you balance that where you don't alienate any of your audience, potentially? And I don't know if you've ever had any pushback where people say to you, I just want you to sing, I don't want you to talk about the environment.
I think it's not easy to balance. Also, like to, for ourselves, like not like regarding of what people's reaction are. I think it's hard to balance in terms of, how many time do you want to spend or can you spend on this topic, or does it then probably like once you come to the point where you feel like, oh, I just want to go to the studio, this is what I always wanted to do, this is what I'm good at. I'm not a scientist and whatever, and so I think that's also like, that's very hard to balance. always, you know, still is. I feel like right now, for example, I feel like, yeah, we did a lot like since, well, end of 2019. But then I think like this year we very much focused on, you know, the album release and the tour, and it became more of a, you know,
a peripheral thing, yeah, which I think,
yeah, like less, it took in less space. We had less space for that. So right now I'm thinking of, yeah, how can we like you know,
lay it
bring
on
it
your
back.
team, lay it on your team, make it your team's job, then you get to focus on the music. But Philip and Clemens, I could talk to you all day. We look forward to welcoming you back in South Africa. Obviously, it's the perfect time of year to escape Berlin because it'll be warm and you'll be
very
able
much
to
true.
swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
So we look forward to it, and thank you for the music.
We are very excited for it too.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.